Let's dive straight into it. You have a checklist for the man you're supposed to marry, and no inventory of what you're bringing to him. Let's look at what's actually sitting on your side of the table. This isn't about lowering your standards, and it isn't about building better boundaries. This is about the gap between the bill you keep handing out and the empty account behind it. Two people, one table, and neither one has anything on it. You know the checklist: 6 figures, 6 feet, emotionally fluent but ruthless at work, gentle with you but hard with everyone else, and somehow available to plan the entire relationship around your mood before you've said a word. That's not a partner. That's a job description for a role nobody's hiring for. So he shows up. He's close enough to the list. And the second he asks what you're bringing to this, something in your face changes. You sit up straighter. You say you are the table. Your presence, your energy, your unbothered aura, that's the offer. Let's actually look at what's sitting on your side of that table. A phone you check every 4 minutes because 12 unanswered ones feels like abandonment. A bank account you're hoping he never asks about. A temper that shows up the second someone doesn't manage your mood for you. You want a stabilizing force in your life, but you can't even stabilize for the next 30 minutes. You wanted the perks of being provided for, and the instant someone asked you to provide anything back, you called it oppression. That's not a standard. That's a hope that no one checks the math. And when he tries to talk to you about any of it, when he asks you to sit through a hard conversation instead of a curated one, you don't hear a fair question. You hear a threat to the image. So you cut it short. You tell your friends he couldn't handle a woman with standards, and you go back to updating the list, adding a line item for whatever he just failed to give you, never once auditing what you gave him first. So when he walks, and he will, are you going to call that him being intimidated? Or are you finally going to look at what you actually put on the table? Don't relax. Your side isn't any cleaner, my boys. You want a traditional wife, peaceful, loyal, standing behind you while you lead the household. You've said this out loud more than once, like it's a settled fact about the kind of man you are. Now look at the man leading that household. You can't wake up without 3 alarms and a fight with yourself. You haven't done a load of laundry since a woman was doing it for you. You want someone to submit to your leadership, and you can't lead yourself to the gym twice in the same week. You talk about being the head of the household with your chest out and your voice low. Your mattress is still on the floor. You want to protect her. You want to provide for her. But protecting someone requires a plan. And providing for someone requires a paycheck that outlasts the month. And you have neither. What you actually want isn't a wife. It's a mother young enough to sleep with. And when she pushes back on any of it, when she names one contradiction between what you demand and what you actually do, you don't hear a fair point. You hear disrespect. You raise your voice. You tell her a real woman wouldn't question her man. And you call her difficult for asking you to be consistent with your own standard. So when she asks what you actually bring to this house besides a title, what's the honest answer? Not the one you'd give your friends, the one you'd give yourself, alone, looking at that mattress. Here's what you have in common, and it isn't the table. It's the delusion that demanding is the same as deserving. Both of you show up to this exchange like buyers with a detailed order and empty pockets. You've mistaken your list of requirements for a form of currency. It isn't. A list doesn't pay for anything. It just tells the other person exactly how much they'd have to carry alone. And here's the part neither of you wants to hear. Nobody is intimidated by either of you. Intimidation would mean you're impressive enough to threaten somebody's ego. What's actually happening is simpler and colder than that. People look at the size of your demands. They look at what's actually sitting behind them, and they leave. Not because you're too much, but because you're too little, dressed up as too much. You'll tell your friends the dating pool is broken. You'll say no one wants to put in effort anymore. You'll sharpen the checklist and sit at the same table, waiting for someone to walk up with a full account and no questions. Nobody's coming. Not because you don't deserve someone, because you haven't built anyone worth choosing you back. You don't need a partner right now. You need an audit of what you'd actually survive giving. And until you run that audit, the table stays exactly the way it's always been. Empty on both sides. Occupied by two people convinced the emptiness belongs to someone else. Next video follow-up soon after this, because why not? It is Sunday, a pre-depressive day.